Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your boy Three Stacks in this thing, representing my squad as always, and we're going over an update for my Flower Cardians. Flower Cardians, it's just one of those decks, man. It catches you off guard, and then you think that it sucks, and then you pick it up and start playing it, and you're like, dang, this deck is fun, and it's actually pretty darn good once it gets going. It's just one of those decks, like when it goes off, man, and it can have some really long turns, honestly. I love the deck. It has some awkward interactions and some actually one-sided matchups where like you kind of just if you're able to make certain of a certain one of the extra deck cards, you just kind of win. So it's not really like it's a rogue deck. It's more or less like it's one of those contenders that you never know it will actually be able to steal some wins. I love the intricate playstyle. I love that it's very combo eccentric, and it's one of those decks that challenges you mentally. You have to think every play right, because if you mess up, everything falls apart. It can't really recover from a misplay. You know, it's not like a Draco deck where, oh, I misplayed, I searched the wrong card with diagram, but I'm still gonna live. It's like there's no recovery after you misplay because everything goes in a straight line. And I'm not saying a straight line meaning that the plays are linear. I mean like everything complements another. So if you miss one combo piece or you forget to do one thing, you can't do anything else for the rest of the turn. So you really have to know what you're doing, and I think that's what really interested me in this deck the most, because like I felt that it was so challenging and it wasn't easy, and I just loved how it worked. Like it's one of those heavy combo based decks. But let's hop right into the main deck. So starting off with your Flower Cardian Pine, it's the only normal summon of the deck. It fetches you a card. Everything that Cardians do is draw and special summon. Those are the two thriving effects of every Flower Cardian. Some differentiate, but every Flower Cardian will draw and special summon. This guy, he draws you a card, and every time they draw, you have to reveal it. And if it's a Flower Cardian, you get some other effect, and if not, it has to hit the grave. But Pine basically just draws and you keep it. And then if it dies, it lets you draw again. So it's really good to start off because there's different chains of Flower Cardians. I kind of look at it like the baby version and then the Mega Evolved form if you play Pokemon or watch Pokemon or anything. That's a way to explain it. But it helps you to get to the mid-level ones that are kind of like the Evolved but not Mega Evolved, because they say you have to control a certain level Flower Cardian or level lower than that in order to summon them. And once you get them on field, you can start everything. So like, again, really combo eccentric, but at the same time kind of delicate. Then we have 3 Curtains. I actually love Curtain. It's kind of like a Kalut, and it summons itself for free. It's not hard once per turn. In fact, there's not really a lot of hard once per turn clauses with the actual monsters. I think that goes with the spells that are kind of hard once per turn. Some of them are. But this guy lets you reveal himself, you draw. If it's a Cardian, you special summon him. If it's not, you discard both him and that card. But he's not once per turn to summon, and he's really good because he gets himself on the field for free. And he's 2,000 either way. It's a really good starter. So these are your play starters. There are some times when I look at this like an extender, but they're always going to be considered in the category of play starters. Then we have Zebra Grass. He's kind of like your Magical Mallet. He just fixes your hand. Excuse me. So this is one of the mid-level ones. This is kind of like, think of it like Pine is a Chameleon or a Charmeleon, or a you can think of it like a Mudkip, right? Or even a Magikarp. And then Grass is kind of like Gyarados and Charizard. But then when you get to the higher level ones, that's like Mega Evolved Charizard, if I'm making sense. I'm trying to think of an accurate elaboration that will kind of paint that picture in your head so you understand how the deck works, because there's levels to this. But Zebra Grass summons himself if you control a Flower Cardian that's level is lower than him. And if he's summoned, you can basically shuffle any number of Flower Cardians into your deck and draw that same number of cards. So if you have a bricky hand, or if you have too many, like, you know, you have 3 of, you draw 2 of them, you can exchange them to get better cards. And I like this card a lot because it's Summoning Clause. If you read it, it's not hard once per turn. It's just you can summon as many as you want. It's really good. So it's never a bad card. So if you have 2 and you draw off the first one and you still didn't see the cards that you wanted, you can special the other one and do the exact same thing. Pretty awesome card. It's another one of the play starters. It's like a midway combo. Then my favorite class of Flower Cardians definitely is the Willow family. So they are warriors, and their card is supposed to depict what the description of the name is. And Willows are definitely my favorite of the Flower Cardian family. The Willows are like just the best. This guy basically shuffles a Flower Cardian from your grave to your deck and lets you draw a card, and you keep that card. Every other one of them normally say like draw if it's a Cardian, keep it if not. throw it away. This one lets you keep it no matter what. And he basically can summon himself no matter what because he's such a high level. And remember, the level 2 ones, you can summon them as long as you control a Flower Cardian whose level is lower than them. He's level 8, so he's going to say level 7 or lower. I believe this guy's like a level 11, so he'll say like level 10 or lower. And that's how they're all going to work. All of the ones, the mid-level ones, are going to have 100 attack and 100 defense. The higher level ones are always going to have 2,000 attack and 2,000 defense. And then the basic line, which is just these are the only like level 1 ones. And this one is 100 attack. This one happens to be 2,000. Kind of just give you guys a little bit more, description on the deck, because it does require a lot of explanation, because you'll just look at it and be like, I don't know what this deck is supposed to do. And then we have 3 Willow Calligrapher. I probably would play 2, but the reason why I have to play 3 is because I misplaced my Peony. Where's she at? My Peony with Butterfly. That's the other tuner of the deck, because this is a Synchro archetype. So because I misplaced some of my Peonies, I have to play 3 of this, because you can't make the best plays of this deck without the tuners. If you don't have tuners, you're going to summon a bunch of Cardians and just pass. And like I think on the follow-up, you're able to link summon and do some really big boards. But the thing is, the Cardians have to live, because the turn that you use some of their effects, you're restricted to only summoning Flower Cardians. So that's kind of like the drawback. I think if this deck didn't have that drawback, it would be one of the best link summoning decks of all time, because it really gets going fast. But Willow with Calligrapher, and basically now I can explain the draw special clause, because these ones kind of just special themselves for free and draw. Now we'll explain the draw special one. So this one, you basically have to tribute Flower Cardian with the exact same level as him. That's why his name is Willow with Calligrapher, because you can only tribute Willow to summon him. So think of it like you have Charizard, and Charizard just mega evolved to a more powerful form of his same self. This is still Willow, it's just different. A stronger version. And pretty cool that Light Shower's in the artwork. But this guy draws a card if he's special summoned, and then if it's a Flower Cardian, you special summon that as well. And then all the tuners say whenever you would synchro summon using Cardians, you treat all of the Flower Cardians, including the tuner itself, as level 2s. So if you have 4 Cardians on board, you make a level 8. If you have 3, you make a level 6, etc., etc. You can only ever synchro summon for even levels, never odd. So 2, 4, 6, 8 is the way to go. So you have your Calligraphers. And then I played 3 Paulwinas. Paulwina's really garbage, and I don't actually like it a lot. I really don't like its effect. It's kind of like a Battle Fader that's better. Basically, you summon it when you have a level lower, right? And then if it gets attacked, you can... I think you destroy the attacking monster, in fact. If it gets attacked, you negate the attack, and then you end the battle phase and you draw a card. So it's pretty busted if you resolve it, but let's be realistic. Anyone who reads this card will never ever declare an attack, so you virtually never get to resolve this, like ever. It's actually there for the name, and because it summons itself for free, because its level is so high. It's a level 12. So if you have a level 11 or lower, which is pretty much everything, there's nothing else that's level 12 minus his Mega Evolve form, which is Paulwina with Phoenix. You can just special summon him for free. So, and that's the other reason why. And also the level 2 ones that are kind of midway, they have no restriction to their summoning condition, but the bigger guys like these say they must be special summoned by a specific thing. So anytime you draw these off an effect like this, you will be able to special summon it. Well, for example, if you draw a Calligrapher with a Calligrapher's effect, you can't special summon it because it says it has to be special summoned first by a different effect. So just got to keep that in mind. So that's why I kind of maximize on the mid combo ones. And then we have the generics, which are kind of in a class of their own because they have like little to no restrictions at all. We have Boar. Boar helps you with the spot removal when you're going second. You basically tribute any Flower Cardian monster and you special him, you draw a card. If it is a Flower Cardian, you get to keep it and you destroy a monster on the field. That does not target, but it does destroy. So he's kind of like the spot removal, and he's not once per turn. So if you have multiples, you can kind of start just clearing boards for yourself, clearing boards and getting ready for your bigger push. And you can always just summon your little guys and attack and just attack for gain. If the field's wide open, if they only have back row, you can just spam the field with a bunch of 2K beaters. Attack with 4 2K beaters, that's exactly 8,000. So Boar just destroys the monsters. And you don't have to have any specific thing. You just tribute a Flower Cardian and special him. And then we have Maple with Deer. Maple with Deer literally does the same exact thing as him, except it destroys a spell or trap. And then we have my one lonely Peony with Butterfly. Unfortunately, I misplaced the other ones. It's really easy to find and really easy to buy. So I'm definitely going to pick up 2, and I'm going to run 3 of this, and I think 2 Willow with Calligrapher. But these are the easiest ones to summon because they have like no restriction really. You just got to tribute a Flower Cardian. And I will have to tell you Peony with Butterfly's effect because it's freaking amazing. So this guy, when he's summoned, he is a spiral gear drone. This is like, well, drone is like him, so I can't say he is a drone. Drone is a butterfly because he was out first. He was way older than drone. So what he does is he looks at the top cards of your opponent's deck. I think it's the top 3. Yeah, the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. By the way, you draw. When you special summon him, you get to draw as well. And then you look at 3 cards of your opponent's deck. You can stack them in any order on the top or the bottom of the deck. So if all 3 of them are really good cards, you can just put them all at the bottom. If they're horrible cards, you're going to give your opponent a bad draw. And it really helps a lot. So you want to play 3 of this because he's like one of the better ones. You play a lot of monsters because this deck thrives off of drawing these guys. You don't want to draw anything that's not a Flower Cardian monster because that's just kind of how the deck works. It's like a chain reaction of snowball effects. Then we have spells. So this is my spiciest deck in Cardians. Most Flower Cardian players do not run this spell at all, like literally at all. I've seen like so many builds. I was trying to discover something that I didn't know. I thought there was something being played in the deck that I didn't know about. There is some spice, but I like mine the way it is. Foolish Burial Goods unbricks your hands. Now, remember how I told you, you have to have a Flower Cardian on board before you start a lot of your chain reaction combos. So, when you have a handful of Flower Cardians that can only be special summoned through that clause, but you don't have one on field yet, Foolish Burial Goods will instantly start the combo off. It will just unbrick your hand and allows you to just start going off. If this resolves, you kind of just snowball into 5 monsters and you get a big synchro. And the reason why Foolish Burial Goods unbricks your hands is because it sends Super Koi Koi. This is my favorite spell in this deck. This card is just amazing. It literally, it says this: excavate the top 3 cards of your deck, and as many Flower Cardians among them that were in the excavated 3, you special summon them. So if you reveal 3 Flower Cardians, you special all 3 of them, and it's ignoring their summoning conditions. For any Flower Cardians that are, any cards that are not Cardians, you have to banish them face down, and you lose 1,000 life points for each. So high risk, but higher reward, right? And then it has an amazing graveyard effect. By the way, you can only activate this one per turn for a good reason, because it's amazing how you flood the field with this. And you can also guarantee that you get 3 Flower Cardians off of this by activating this spell card Flower Stacking and stacking 3 Cardians on top of your deck, and then activating this and special summoning all 3 of them, setting up crazy chain links, and then you get a headache, right? This card's graveyard effect, you can banish it from the graveyard even the same turn that it was sent. That's why Foolish Burial Goods is so good with this card. You banish it and you special 1 Flower Cardian monster from your hand, ignoring its summoning conditions. So no matter what it says, like it must be special summoned by this clause, you'll use this. You use the Foolish Burial Goods to start the combo. Once you special summon 1 Flower Cardian, the combo begins, and you end up just going through a bunch of crazy plays. So these kind of complement each other. It's like playing 6 Koi Kois. Then we play 3 Flower Stacking. This one lets you choose 3 Flower Cardians, stack it on top of your deck. Pretty simple, right? And that sets you up well because remember what I was saying. Every Flower Cardian will draw a card. If it's not a Flower Cardian, you have to get rid of it. But if it is a Flower Cardian, you keep it and get the secondary effect. So this guarantees that you will get the draws, and it also sets you up for better combos because you can pull cards like Butterfly, Boar, Deer, whatever the situation calls for, you will guarantee you get a certain playoff. And it also has another graveyard effect. It set the turn that it was sent. You can banish it from the grave, and you basically take a Flower Cardian from your graveyard and add that card to your hand. So it kind of just lets you monster reincarnation after that. So you can even Foolish Burial Goods this if you need to. So Foolish Burial Goods has 9 targets. Then we play 3 Reincarnation, my second favorite of all the Flower Cardian spells. It says target a Flower Cardian in your graveyard. You add it to your hand, and then you can special summon 1 Flower Cardian from your hand, ignoring its summoning conditions. So it can kind of start your combo again, just like Koi Koi, but you have to have a legitimate target engraved first. Then, if it's sent to the graveyard via a Flower Cardian monster's effect, you excavate 5 cards from your deck, and then you add any spell or trap that you want from those excavated cards to your hand. When I used to play bombshell spells like Pot of Desires and etc., you can basically search your Pot of Desires by looking at 5 cards from your deck. And what that means is you have to draw it by accident or just draw it in general off of a Flower Cardian monster's effect. So this never happens on purpose, put it that way, because you never know you're going to draw it. So if you accidentally draw this via any of their effects, you have to discard it because that's what they say, but then you get this other effect that allows you to excavate the top 5. You grab a spell or trap from that, and then you get to rearrange those in any order you choose. So it can be better than Flower Stacking because you can grab a spell or trap, and then you can simply stack Flower Cardians in any order back on top of your deck that you want. So it's just a lot better than stacking, just put it that way. And that's why it's my second favorite spell. It's really amazing. And then we also played 2 Flower Gatherings. This special summons 4 of the baby ones from your deck with different names. The baby ones are the ones that have 100 attack and defense. That's pretty much all it does, but it starts a chain reaction of combos because remember, you have to control Flower Guardians in order to do your best stuff. Then I played 3 Allures because the whole deck is dark. I am missing my 1 reinforcement of the army because it would be the 4th Flower Pine or the 4th Curtain. So you definitely got to play Rhoda in this deck. I recommend you can try Desires, but I've always had bad luck with Desires in this deck. If I had better luck, I would definitely play Desires, but keep in mind, you don't want to play too many spells. You definitely want to play more monsters, if anything. But yeah, that's pretty much the main deck. For the extra, because you're restricted to only summoning Flower Guardians, my extra deck is comprised of only the Cardians. There have been situations that came up where my board did not get broken, and I was able to make other stuff like rank 10s, rank 8s, rank 7s, generic synchros and link summons, but because it doesn't come up enough and it's very contrary to the playstyle, I only play the Cardians. So we have 3 Light Shower. This card cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects, and also all of your other Flower Guardians cannot be targeted or destroyed anyways. So it's kind of just like everything is invincible, kind of like a Azor Silver Dragon. And then during your opponent's draw phase, you can burn them for 1500. So if your opponent draws, they basically get him burned for 1500. That can be amazing because it can be a game winner. And then also you can choose to activate the effect or not. But you also would have to sacrifice your draw phase if you do want to keep his effect live, because during your draw phase, you either negate his effects or you don't draw. So if you know that you don't need the protection for all your Flower Guardians to not be targeted or destroyed, and you're just going for game, then you draw, get that extra resource. If not, turn his effect off. Then we have 2 Light Flares. This is basically a Naruto. It negates spells or traps, and it also, I think it just negates the effects. And it's a 5k beater, it's a level 10. Also, minus being a negation on legs, it also says if it leaves the field by any means, you special any Flower Guardian except itself from your extra deck. So you normally go into Light Shower. Then we have Board Fly. Board Fly gives all your Cardians piercing, and then he basically says, I'll read you, he's like a floodgate. He basically says, you banish a Cardian from your grave until the end of your opponent's next turn. Your opponent cannot activate any graveyard effects, meaning any effects that activate in the grave cannot be activated. He's like a dweller. And then they can also not special summon from the graveyard. So if you make this turn 1 and you're playing against Gokis, they can't get any searches and they can't resolve rematch. Basically meaning they can't really play Yu-Gi-Oh! And then we also have Moonflower. This is the newer one, Moonflower Viewing. She lets you, during your main phase, draw a card. Show it if it's a Flower Guardian, special summon it, ignoring its summoning conditions. And it also can attack directly, so she's broken. And then also, if you activate this effect, skip the draw phase in your next turn. When you synchro summon, you can treat this card and treat... when this card is used as a synchro material, you can treat it and all of the synchro materials as level 2s, because she's also a tuner, so she's just broken. She starts a chain reaction as well. You normally OTK every time you resolve her, so you can just like push through everything and OTK with her. That's pretty much the deck profile, you guys. Definitely let me know your honest opinion and feedback and thoughts of the deck. I think it's an awesome deck. I went very in-depth in explanations because this deck is not very popular. Most people don't know what it does. And I'm not saying it to challenge your mentality or say that you're not smart. I'm just saying it for those of you who do not know about the deck. But God bless you guys. Make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells. And stay tuned for the next deck profile because we got more coming. Peace.